How's it going, everybody? We have an event that was kind of snuck under the rug last night, and it is going to be an event that is basically going to be guaranteeing players who play every day in engaged alliances that raid at least one diamond on Mephisto, which is kind of a crazy thing. There's a couple misconceptions about this event and how many people will actually get to open one of these orbs that guarantees at least one diamond on Mephisto. So I wanted to break it all down in this video, and I think where we should start is probably just with the event itself. So let's go on over to game, and this event is called For Liberty. So we're going to be playing in War with Liberty. It does start in 6 hours, and as we're going to see, it has a duration of 9 days. So if we just look at the inputs, it's going to be using Patriot, Falcon, and Peggy Carter at 5, 6, and 7 yellow stars, as well as giving you 100,000 base points for using Captain America Sam, War Machine, and just doing at least 5 war attacks. That's going to be maxing out the free-to-play part, which is 100,000. Now, we're going to be getting meaningful amounts of gold, training materials, and a lot of experience. They're really just kind of bum-rushing people all the way to 105, which is great. But if you were to tally up the 100,000 of these Mephisto orb fragments, you'll find you're only going to be getting 1,600 orb fragments. Kind of interesting number. Most orbs come in 2,000, so let's go check out this event. This event orb, I should say. And if we see the orb, it does cost 2,000 fragments. So on the surface, it looks like if you don't have at least one character at 5 yellow stars, you will not be getting to open these orbs. But I think that is a misconception. I want to look at the odds of this orb first, though. There is a 70% chance you get a 1 diamond. A 25% chance you get a 2 diamond. 25% is a high number. And a 5% chance you can get that 3 diamond Mephisto. 2 diamonds affect Mephisto. You bet your butt they do. They affect Mephisto quite a lot. But it looks like free-to-play is not going to get to open up a single thing. Well, let's head on over to the Mephisto event chart real quick, and let's talk about this. So like I alluded to, this event is 9 days long. This is going to be very, very important. And if we look, using Peggy Carter at 5 yellow stars, 1 time in war nets us 100,000 points. So free to play, if we max out at 100,000, and if we just need to use Peggy Carter 1 time, we'd be at 200,000 points. That would net us milestone 11 and 12, which would finish off the first orb, and it would also get you 1 additional orb. So I am actually under the opinion that free-to-play players are going to be able to get at least 2 orbs here. But I do also want to keep in mind the idea that there was a giant Peggy Carter orb issue where her expensive orbs were being sold at the cheap orb price. So we're talking about these Agent 13 orbs. Now, a lot of players were able to spend about $25 on getting maxed out Sharon Carter. Those players are actually going to be getting up to 400,000 points for this event, which is going to give them a 7 red star Mephisto, along with another 1,000,000 gold and 100 training modules, which is great, because you got to remember, guys, even if you can get 1 diamond Mephisto, you have to have the 7 red stars to even activate those diamonds. But that's only people that spend. I really want to focus in on people that don't spend at all. So why do I think free-to-play are still at the very least going to have a 5 yellow star Peggy Carter before the end of this event? Okay? Well, if you go to the Battle Pass and we scroll through, we are getting Agent 13 orbs. So we did get 2 right away. I'm going to assume you already opened those. I was asking people in chat, and the majority of 100% free-to-play players who didn't drop a single core on Peggy Carter yet, they're all kind of hovering around the 17 to 30 shards after already activating the 4th yellow star. So they all need around 100 shards for Peggy Carter. Why is Christmas music playing? Okay, as I was saying, guys, we're getting 2 at the beginning of the Battle Pass, but this is a 9-day event. If we scroll further down the Battle Pass, you will find we're going to be getting an additional 5 Agent 13 orbs for hitting milestone 31 of the Battle Pass. This is a guarantee hit, okay? We will also be getting another 5 orbs at milestone 59. This is going to give you 10 of the big Peggy Carter orbs. The Sharon Carter? It's Peggy Carter, isn't it? It's Peggy Carter. It's Pat the Pay Carter. Okay, it's Sharon Carter Pay Carter. It's all too confusing. This is going to be a guaranteed additional 60 shards on what you already have. You should keep in mind that your Hold the Line Alliance event, you may not have finished that yet. This also has additional Peggy Carter shards for you. I know people in my alliance are going to be getting at least 5 more. Maybe your alliance is a little bit less active and you have more of these to look forward to add to your total that you're currently building with. Here's my point. I think if you are a daily playing, engaged player, you can reasonably expect to have 5 Yellow Star Peggy Carter completely free to play before this event ends. The one thing you're going to have to make sure you and your alliance coordinate, though, is you need to make sure you are going to be able to use the 5 Yellow Star Peggy Carter in war. And because we only have 2 wars a week, at least this week and I think next week as well, you're going to want to make sure that you are in the proper war zone. You don't kind of screw yourself over. But what if you have really terrible luck on those orbs? What if you get 6s across the board? Guys, this is a 9-day event. If you value a 1 diamond Mephisto, all you need to start doing is saving your cores now. I think on average, players are saving around 300 to 600 cores daily. If you spend 1.25 million gold, you place where you can get placed in the arena, you make sure you are doing your spending energy without having to maybe do additional cores, stop coring where you don't need to, you should be able to hoard up enough that you can open up maybe 3 or 4 more of these Peggy Carter orbs before this event ends, use her in war, get yourself that Mephisto diamond. Alright guys, it was brought to my attention via chat when I was editing this video that I also forgot another source of Peggy Carter shards that we're going to be getting between now and the end of this event. And that is from your actual war rewards. So depending where you're placed, for every war loss or victory, we're still going to be getting the Path to Peggy Carter orb fragments, which do have a pity timer, giving you more of the Agent 13 orbs. So what I would strongly suggest players do, first of all, win your wars, because war is actually fun when you try and win. Do that. Get the free Agent 13 orbs that we're going to be getting from the Battle Pass's free-to-play track. Open all of those and these pity orbs and see where you stand, and then decide, do I need to open up 2, 3 more of these core orbs for Peggy Carter to get those 2 orbs for the Mephisto diamonds, and do I value that? And honestly, I think this is super reasonable. Just wanted to throw that in there. So once again, we're going to get even more Peggy Carter shards from your war rewards. Wait until you get all your free-to-play sources of Peggy Carter shards before you core that orb. Get her to 5 yellow stars. Use her in war. That is absolutely crucially important. And get a diamond on Mephisto, because that guy's awesome. All right, back to the pre-recorded video. I think this is very reasonable. In fact, I think that this is actually going to upset some players. So, what about players who took part in the Mephisto Diamond Leaderboard on December 2nd? It was called the Ice Queen Gala. This was the store that had Kahori shards in it. There was an input to spend gold. It was, of course, right before the level cap. I know myself, I dropped 600 million gold, on the terrible Man-Thing orb. So I got Man-Thing to 7 yellow stars. I ended up getting my 2 Diamond Mephisto. Absolutely no regrets. Looking at about 3 months of having the Mephisto advantage at 2 diamonds, is that a reasonable advantage for the leaderboard? I think that's pretty much the same sort of advantage that regular characters like, say, Kahori leaderboard or Emma Frost leaderboard. I think it's the same sort of advantage that, you know, the big Krakens, when they were taking part of those leaderboards that didn't have a spend gold input, were experiencing on those characters. But for Dark Dimension, should we expect a little bit more of a buffer? No, I don't care. I'm glad that more people are going to be getting diamonds on Mephisto. That's going to really help you secure a lot of objectives in PvE. And in PvP, it doesn't affect Mephisto on the defensive side at all, but it does impact Mephisto more on the offense side. So I think it's actually really good that they're going to be giving as many diamonds as Mephisto as possible to players in the community, because we have Starjammers coming. We might need Mephisto to counter them. We have Odin Illuminati already that people need a big Mephisto to counter there. So I am happy that more people are going to be getting diamonds on Mephisto than have it already. There is one place I am a little concerned about, though, and that is Dark Diamonds. I do not know what the heck Scopely is doing with the Dark Diamond economy, but it is horrible. I'm at 8,000. I was at 20,000. I got bored because they have not put Captain Britain in there. They have not put Old Man Logan in there. They have not put Mephisto in there. I doubt Odin's going in there anytime soon. They are, like all of their stores, failing to upgrade the contents of this store at a meaningful rate. I ended up getting Juggernaut to 3 diamond. I brought my zombie Iron Man to 2 diamond because it costs like 1,500 or something like that. I am hearing from a lot of players that things like this devalue, or at least make them feel that Dark Diamond's value is in the tank. It's and I agree with them, because if I just get a 1 or 2 diamond Mephisto, 25% chance to get a 2 diamond Mephisto from this event. If you have Peggy Carter at 6 stars, you're going to be able to 4 orbs. If you have Peggy Carter at 5 yellow stars, you're going to be able to open up 2 of those orbs. The likelihood that I'm going to be getting the diamonds from Mephisto that I've been saving for through my rewards in Crucible is pretty damn high, which makes me care less about Crucible, because the only thing I really care about Crucible is the Dark Diamonds to upgrade those kind of characters. So Scopely needs to be careful and kind of fix these stores, but that's kind of true across the board. Another thing I thought was very interesting as far as events go, and this is going to be different than the Mephisto conversation we've been having, is the lack of leaderboards. Now, we talked about this a little bit with Scotty in our math video, but instead of having a leaderboard with Falcon diamonds in it, they just slap them into the milestones, the whale stones. These are whale stones, right? Like, you're more likely to kind of cap out at milestone 16, hopefully milestone 17 for most players, but 18, 19, and 20, it's like spending only there. Normally for leaderboards, you were looking at like $400-ish on a good character to sneak into that 2 diamond bracket. To get the 3 diamond bracket, I don't know. I assume that those players are spending around $1,000 per leaderboard. But if we go over to the store, I thought this was super interesting. This right here, this chain offer for, I think it's 250 American dollars total. This gets you 400,000 points along with your free-to-play inputs. So they are essentially selling the diamonds for Falcon at, I think, 1/4 the cost, about 1/4 the cost of what the leaderboards normally would be. Now, there's a conversation to be had here is this because Liberty is selling really poorly? Is this because they don't think people will compete as hard on this leaderboard if they were to do it? And I think there's a lot of validity to that conversation, but I think there's a cooler conversation to have. And I want to have it because of this offer up here. So this, like the big Peggy Carter orbs, this is the big Patriot orbs. Now for $30, you will get in total 12 of these Patriot orbs. With a minimum drop of 6, you could be looking at 72 shards. But more often than not, you would be getting the unlock from this offer because it's about average of 9, right? So that'd be 90 plus 18. That's a nice unlock. So for $30, you can kind of reasonably expect to unlock, or you might have to core 1 or 2 more times to get Patriot unlocked. This is a far cry from their usual price point. You can ignore my Canadian pricing here. This is $50 American. So for $20 more, I get the guaranteed unlock, but on average, I'm really getting 2 shards more. So, I mean, there's definitely a gambler aspect to this one, right? I think a lot of people they kind of would prefer to pull these penny slots and see if they can strike it big than just drop $50 right away. I just thought this was a cool conversation to have because it seems like Scopely is trying to throw their net into a different body of water. So if, let's be real, in mobile games, the pricing is stupid. It's really, really expensive. And they're throwing the net in a pond, a very small pond, kind of more like a puddle, really. And they're trying to catch big fish in that puddle. Well, with this new pricing for the diamonds, which is what really activates characters' super awesomeness, as well as like a much cheaper character unlock, it seems they're now throwing that net into a puddle or like a small ravine instead. So I'm going to be interested to see if this trend continues, not on Liberty, but on the Starjammers. If we see this sort of pricing on Starjammers, a Crucible team that people are associated with Professor X, it's going to be a lot higher demand for that. So if we see this sort of price points, to me it tells me that Scopely is trying to widen their net to catch more fish as opposed to catch a big fish. I think that's really cool. Now, at the same time of saying that, like this would be like $250 plus $30 for every single character. Like, that's still a crazy amount of money. So I think this is still a small body water. I would wonder what would happen if they were to throw out, if they got in a boat, got in the ocean, right? And they did a $5 character unlock, kind of like what Peggy Carter was. And if they did like a $50 max diamond thing, how many people would bite that bait? I think that's an interesting conversation. Now, they can never start at that super cheap spot because then that becomes expected. That becomes the norm, right? Them doing Liberty is an interesting way for them to kind of gauge the waters, because nobody's going to be like super duper pumped about this, but nobody's going to not notice it either. I'm curious if this is an experiment by them or if this is just because Liberty is selling like shit. There's that conversation we could have as well, because I know a lot of people aren't super pumped about War. They did just take one War away from us a week. And the value of War, I mean, it's more valuable than Crucible and the Dark Diamonds that we never ever get to use. Because gold, we always get to use gold. Anyway, I just thought this was an interesting conversation to have. But I think this is really cool. So it looks like most people are going to be opening up 2 of these Mephisto Diamond Orbs with a guarantee of 1 diamond, 25% chance of getting the 2 diamond, which I think a lot of people are going to get. And I think this is a great event. I don't know why they didn't put this in the blog. This would have been a much cooler conversation to have when we were talking about the blog. Let me know what you're feeling about this event. Let me know how you guys are liking Marvel Strike Force at this moment. And guys, as always, stay happy, stay healthy, have yourselves a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.
That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.